It was especially good when I got the Company of Heroes 2 DLC and drove around in a cartoonified T-34 with a little Russian poking his head out. That was great.
What?
Welcome to the WellPlayed DLC podcast. It is Tuesday, May 21st. I'm Zach, and I'm here with Kieron, Jordan, and Azza from WellPlayed, of course. Guys, how are you?
Yeah, I've got tea in my giant waifu cup, so I'm all good.
Yeah, pretty good as well.
Yeah, I'm pretty good.
We also have to give a quick little shout out to Jordan because it's his birthday today.
Happy birthday, big
happy
man.
birthday, Jordan.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
And as your present, you get to tell us what you've been playing first.
Well, obviously it's Troll and I. There's nothing else to play, so...
There's
Of
nothing
course.
else to play. Why isn't Civilization just centered around Troll and I at this point? It's
No,
like the Mona Lisa.
It is.
I've actually been juggling Breath of the Wild and Minecraft of all things.
It's a good time for it, mate.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, yeah.
Certainly is.
Because there's never a bad time for modded Minecraft, so...
No, there's never a bad time for modded anything.
That's true.
You got that Thomas the Tank Engine mod, mate?
Oh, of course.
Who doesn't have... No, you've got to have the Randy Savage. The Randy Savage one. That one's the best.
I feel like I'm missing out on this
Thomas the Savage Engine.
community. Kieran, we discussed A Plague Tale in detail last week, and you've given it a crack
Yes.
this
have.
week. What did you think of it?
I bloody loved it, mate. You would know I just got the platinum like 5
Nice.
minutes
Yeah,
ago.
I'm very
Nice.
jealous.
So I've played everything I can of it. Yeah, awesome. Easily one of the best things I've played this year. Like surprised me on every turn.
Yeah.
So
Would you say that my review was... did you... was there any different to my review that you wanted to change or felt differently about?
no, man. I think you pretty much hit the nail on the head with everything you said about it.
Cool.
So kudos to the great recommendation there.
Thank you.
And everyone else should play
I
it.
get 1 in 6 right, so it's good enough. Jordan, you haven't had a chance to pick it up?
Nah, not yet. I was tossing between Rage and that, and I think I'll go for that, because a lot of what I'm seeing about Rage is it's not necessarily a bad game, but it just falls to the normal trappings of generic open world, which kind of annoys me. But,
Yeah.
You know?
It's one of the reasons I just haven't picked up a AAA game in a while. Just too much open world stuff to do. I don't really like.
Yeah,
I've never
yeah,
really
no,
liked
I
the
get
open
that.
world experience.
Yeah, we'll talk about Rage 2 a bit more later. Azza, what have you been playing?
I've actually been getting stuck back into Pokemon Red, believe it or not, on my old Game Boy.
Yes, a classic.
I was playing it for the Game Boy history article I wrote last month, and I thought, I'll finish the game because I've never actually finished Pokemon Red. I've finished Pokemon Crystal more times than I can count, but not Pokemon Red.
Is Pokemon Red one of the first ones?
Yes, it's the first. It's
Generation
the
one.
first one.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? I think I played the first 2. Is there a blue one?
Yeah, that's Gen 1.
There's blue and then there's yellow that came out after that was based off the anime.
Yeah, I think I played the first 2 back on the Game Boy. Little unknown fact that you would have never guessed.
No, playing Pokemon in the late 90s. Who would have thunk?
Playing a game?
Playing a video game.
I mean, I don't think I've
What
ever.
what are you, a
alluded to,
gamer?
Wait. Let's just let something sink in here. We've just confirmed that there is a game that exists that isn't in Zach's backlog anymore.
What?
I actually did finish it. Yeah. There you go.
Wow. Out of everything. One of the few games you finished is Pokemon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now I don't like it. Sorry. Yeah. Myself, I've been checking out a game called, the demo of Shinobolite. It was a game that was on Kickstarter quite recently, by the developers called The Farm 51. They did Get Even, one of my go-tos from 2017, I believe.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's they got I think that they like more than doubled their funding, which is pretty cool. So there's some stretch goals there that got ticked off. Basically, the demo is probably, they said it's between 1 and 2 hours of gameplay, and it's just to give backers a bit of a taste of what's to come.
Yeah, a bit of a taste, a bit of an appetizer.
It is definitely rough. It is very rough, and that's fine because it says it's pre-alpha quality and stuff like that, and but it feels a lot like if Metro, Stalker, and Get Even had a baby. That's essentially is.
That's chef kiss right there. That's just mwah. Very good. Very good.
So it's set in.
It's also a great time to be playing it as well because the HBO Chernobyl series premiered.
Yeah, I tried to download that from.
Yeah, I'm waiting to watch it with my mum because my mum is a radiologist, so she'll be able to. We'll be tag teaming it. She'll take care of the science bit. I'll take care of the history bit.
But I couldn't find anything better than 720p rips, and I don't get out of bed for 720p rips, mate.
I'm usually fine with 720p.
Are you just admitting to piracy on this podcast, Zach?
No way. I'm just talking. Yeah, I am.
We're talking hypothetically.
If there was a way I could buy it, there probably is.
He's actually just admitting to
HBO. Suits at HBO. If you're listening, let me buy my nuclear horror show.
We want to give you our money, please.
Just don't put it on Foxtel.
I actually have Foxtel.
It'll go on Foxtel.
Oh man,
I hate Foxtel though.
I hate
Foxtel
so much.
I only have it for the AFL and the A League, which you guys, I know you
yeah.
all you guys love that.
How good was the Carlton game on the weekend,
mate? I'll leave right now. So it's basically about a guy who, this is back on Chernobyl, who left the Chernobyl zone when obviously old mate reactor went crazy, and he's now come back 30 years later to try and find his fiancée. It seems sort of story driven like Get Even was. It's kind of, I think it's open world. I can't quite remember if it is fully open world. It has very thick Ukrainian accents in it. So everything's all subtitled. And as you would expect.
Is it a Ukrainian made game?
No, the devs are Polish. Or I'm pretty sure it's Ukrainian. It might be Russian. You're probably the best person to interpret that. But I just assumed it would be Ukrainian because that's where Chernobyl is.
Yeah. It's in Ukraine.
And yeah, as it's funny seeing the translations, like the written ones, because there's quite a few typos. But no, it seems all right. It's still a way to go. I think it's the end of next year. I think they're looking to release it. But no, it seems pretty cool so far.
Zach, there is one thing I need to ask you about it.
Yep.
Is there one cheeky breaky in there? Even one?
What's a cheeky breaky?
Oh, it's an old stalker meme. Don't worry about it.
Oh no, sorry. I'm not. I'm old. Remember, I'm not down with memes.
Stalker's in his backlog, actually.
Actually,
yes, you should play.
No, the first one's not in my backlog. I have finished that one. The second one is in my backlog. I've started but not finished it.
They're all very good games. They're all very good.
Yeah, I went back and tried to play the second one a few years ago, and I was like, I'm struggling with this.
Yeah, it's a brutal game. It's a game it's not for everyone. It's absolutely not for everyone.
But no, I mean, if you like that sort of stuff, you should definitely check out this one eventually when it comes out. But while we're on that Eastern European topic, as you've been playing a game called, I'm not going to try and pronounce the whole title.
Irony Curtain from Matryoshka with Love.
Yeah,
yes, that's correct. It's a point and click adventure game, very heavily inspired by the old LucasArts and Humongous Entertainment games, especially the art style. The art style really reminded me of the old Humongous games. It is also a Polish game, with the developers going out to say that the game's sense of humor mostly is an attempt for them to get their collective experiences of the communist regime in Poland and kind of laugh a little about it, especially about the university communists who prop their glasses up and say, "Actually, I think you'll find that this isn't true." It's a very funny game. I really, really, really liked it. And I really liked how much it was like those old LucasArts games. It was uncanny, absolutely uncanny.
Yeah, I was lucky to score a code
Yeah.
from our good mates there, and I'm keen to check it out. But backlog and everything.
Yeah,
so
you'll have to let me know when you get around to playing it.
I will hopefully play it very soon, which means
Fingers crossed for you, buddy.
this year,
Fingers
maybe
crossed.
sometime. Cool. Yeah, I think you gave that an 8 out of 10.
Yes,
from memory.
I ranked it very high. It was very good.
So you've played a couple of old school point and click games now.
Yeah.
With Trooper Rook. Which one did you prefer more?
Ooh, goddamn. Well, Trubabrook is... I preferred the art style of Trubabrook because I'm just a sucker for that stop motion kind of ideal. But Trubabrook was unfortunately pretty short compared to Irony Curtain. It was really quite a short game, which is not surprising considering the art style they went with. It's really expensive and takes a long time to make those kinds of environments and those kinds of animations. But having said that, I don't think I can actually choose between them. They both do their own separate thing, and they both do it incredibly well.
Nice. Kieron, you played True Book. You might... actually, no, because it's not coming on consoles. Sorry, I didn't. Yeah, but if you ever get a gaming PC, you should probably check out Irony Curtain. I reckon you'd...
Everyone should get a gaming PC.
You'd,
You don't even need
it'd
a
probably
gaming
run
PC
on
to
my
play Irony
Surface.
Curtain. Yeah, that's the best thing about retro style point and click adventure games. They run on potatoes.
Do you reckon it would?
Oh yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
definitely.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, maybe I'll... You should check it out.
Repping that Intel HD graphics, baby.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
But
Kieron,
you're not getting the full experience unless you play it on a 1060.
you've been quite busy this past week. You've played
Yeah.
Rage 2, which came out a week ago, actually. And our review went up on Sunday, I believe, and Kieron scored it a 6.8. What did you think of it, and in comparison to Kieron's review?
Well, I had the pleasure of editing that review, so I've read it pretty thoroughly. And I was surprised that Kieron pretty much said everything that I was thinking about that game, which is to say that it can be a lot of fun, and the combat can be like incredibly fun and frantic and really sort of visceral and stuff, but the game makes you work too hard for that. Like you can pretty much get by with just the starting weapons, even on like a hard difficulty. So like any of the fun in combat really is you being creative on purpose. It's really weird. It's not like Doom where you sort of have to get creative to survive. So yeah, it's fun, but it falls flat a lot, and the open world is just hot garbage. It's nothing. It shouldn't be there.
Do you think it's better than the first Rage?
It's more, yeah. Like gameplay wise, it's more fun. The story is just as bad as the first game. But the world's definitely like they've tried to, give it a little bit more color, a little bit more flavor. Like not enough, but it's definitely a step in the right direction.
You assumed that there was gameplay in the original Rage. You assumed that it wasn't just a tech demo.
Yes, that's been a pretty common complaint I've heard. Has anybody else played it? As I know you haven't played it.
No, I haven't played it yet, but I am planning on going over to somebody's place and giving it a go. Well, on a console, blasphemy. But I'll see. We'll see how we go.
That's all right.
We'll
I played it on
And I'll
PS4.
get, I'll get back to you, lads.
If you fly to my place in Sydney, I'll buy it and you can play it.
Oh,
All right. Yeah, all right. Done deal. All I have to do, just give me about, what?
so you
4
can
hours?
afford to fly as over there? No,
No.
Sorry.
No, I can't. Oh, good.
no,
No, he can't.
I misheard that. That sounds terrible.
No, he can't.
I'm terrible. So Kieron's review, we'll just give a quick rundown. His synopsis was that Rage 2 has awesome gunplay and slick production, but can't hide the fact that there's not a lot of actual meat on Rage 2's bones. Scoring it a 6.8, which is a little bit disappointing. I've not played it, but from what I've seen, I saw a couple of you guys play it at PAX last year. I thought it would probably do a bit better, and I thought Kieron was going to love it a bit more than what he did. He's normally a bit of a sucker for those kind of games, like Doom and and that. But yeah.
Because he quite liked the first one as well, from what he was saying.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's surprising, but we move on, and everybody doesn't play Rage 2 and plays A Plague Tale instead.
Yeah.
A lot of the issues, it sounds like, is like they got the core gameplay loop down, but they just forgot that you have to, if you're gonna have a game the way that Rage is, you gotta have to actually have good design to back it up.
Yeah.
Do you think they being Bethesda made a mistake with giving Avalanche the reins? Because Avalanche, I know they got a couple studios, but they would have been doing Just Cause 3 and Generation Zero, which is Kieran's favorite game of the year so far, and Rage 2. I mean, I don't know how big the team actually is.
I feel like the core gameplay design was obviously done by id, and they sort of used Avalanche as like a consultancy for like the open world stuff, and obviously they use the Avalanche engine as well. But like I don't see
I thought
any.
it used the ID engine.
Nah,
Oh,
it's
really?
using the Avalanche open world engine. It's weird. It still feels like an id game, like an id tech game, but it's but it's weird because there's not much of like Avalanche's influence on anything other than the fact that it's open world. So I'm not really sure like what the end goal was with that relationship.
Bland open world, bit like Just Cause.
Like pretty much, except like a lot smaller and with nothing going on in it.
I could never quite get into Just Cause for that exact reason.
Just Cause 3 I thought was quite fun for a couple of hours, and then once I tethered like a whole bunch of balloons and rockets to cows and stuff, I was done.
Yeah, from what I've heard, most of the fun in that game comes from the multiplayer mod.
There's a multiplayer mod?
Yeah.
For PC, yeah.
Is that because I'm a console peasant?
Yes.
Damn it.
Bow before us, console peasant.
And Kieran, you finished up a review for Team Sonic Racing, which was one of your most anticipated games of the year, if I remember correctly. What did you think?
Probably my most tentatively anticipated game of the year, because I played a little bit of it last year and it was horrible at the time, but I think the delay that they had with the game has made it like a world of difference because it's amazing. Yeah.
So how long do you reckon, with it being on PC, how long do you reckon it'll be before someone changes the Sonic model to look like the movie Sonic?
I hope very soon. I hope it's
Lord.
movie Sonic riding Thomas the Tank Engine.
Yes.
Yeah, theory.
But
I'd pay for that.
Yeah, no, but I don't know if anyone here has played any of like the previous Sonic racing games, but
I played Sonic R back in the day.
Like that's going back a little bit.
The one where
too
they're running
far.
around, yeah.
Yeah.
I played it
that
on
was
an
on
emulator.
the Saturn?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah. It
but
had a
like
great soundtrack, but yeah.
But yeah, like last generation, Sumo Digital took over the reins of like making Sonic racing games, and like the previous one, All Stars Racing Transformed, was like pretty much the pinnacle of like the mascot kart racer.
Yeah, it was a very good game.
Yeah,
It was especially good when I got the Company of Heroes 2 DLC and drove around in a cartoonified T-34 with a little Russian poking his head out. That was great.
What?
Yeah, there was okay. So there was a DLC package for that game.
Great.
I think it was DLC. I don't know if they just added him later, but one of the races was the general from Company of Heroes 2, the World War II RTS game, and he drove around in like a little cartoon tank.
All right. Well, that's some PC exclusive bullshit that I didn't know about.
It was pretty fantastic.
Cool. Yeah, but sorry.
No, you go. I'll ask after.
Okay, I was just gonna say, the new Team Sonic Racing, so the one that came out today. I was a bit worried because it's all team based mechanics, and I know Zach, you really liked Onrush, which is kind of a similar deal, but nobody plays that. So
it can't.
I was worried that this is going to be resigned to the same fate, and I mean, maybe it will. Who knows what the future holds? But like as a game, it's amazing.
Maybe
so it's
it'll
a bit
go,
like
PS Plus after a few months, like like Onrush did.
Yeah, well, that didn't help either.
Probably.
That game was awesome though.
It's good. Onrush is great. It's just I think Onrush is the most fun when you're playing with other people, and and there's not many other people playing that. Whereas Team Sonic Racing, like playing with the AI is surprisingly good. Like I played a few online matches today, and I found that I'd rather play with the AI than real people.
Really?
Yeah.
That's something I thought I'd never hear in my lifetime. But hey, life's full of surprises.
It's the AI is better at teamwork than actual people are. So, go figure.
Well, basically, like a burnt book would be better at teamwork than a real person. So,
yes.
You even see me race, Matt. Actually, I bought I think the last car game I actually bought was Project Cars, and I installed it, turned it on, tried to do a lap, span right out, uninstalled it, returned it to JB like the next day. Couldn't do it.
Wow.
Now that's a turnaround.
Too simulated for me.
Fair enough.
I'm more about the crew, mate.
Oh, the crew. That was such a comfy game. So comfy.
Not that good.
Shame you can't play it anymore though, because the servers aren't there anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you the first crew, you straight up just can't play it anymore. There's actually an episode of a show called Ross's Game Dungeon where the guy who does Freeman's Mind plays old video games, and anytime he can, he turns it into an argument against forced obsolescence in video games, like online only video games.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a very, very comfy game that was taken too soon.
Yeah, well, I thought the first one was better than the second one.
I never played the second one.
I didn't really rate the second one, and the first one had some really cool DLC. I think you play players or drivers like monster trucks and stuff like that,
that was cool.
But yeah, the second one just didn't get my jorts tight whatsoever.
No,
sadly.
No.
We'll move on. I did have a question to throw at you, Kieron, but I don't know if you really probably be able to answer it. After playing Team Sonic, are you less or more excited for Crash Team Racing? Has Team Sonic filled that void in your life?
My appetite for kart races is insatiable, so I am still very excited for Crash Team Racing as well. It's different.
Crash Team Racing is going to be fantastic. It's going to be a great game.
Yeah, it looks dope.
They're including played it.
I have.
Ooh. How was it?
How much are you going to pay me?
I can't say that on a public podcast, but I'll DM you my prices.
Okay. No, it was pretty fun. So before I actually went in to do it, I actually played it, the original one on my PS1, just to get a little more familiar with how it handled in the PS1. Because for such an old game, it actually gameplay-wise aged really well.
It still plays very, very well.
Yeah, and it has some really interesting design behind it in terms of its technical performance, because I never noticed this as a kid, but like the graphics got really, really bad the more people you added to it.
Yeah.
But it ran so smoothly.
Yeah, Naughty Dog were always just technical wizards.
Yeah.
Like, I always remember how they got the first Crash game to run so well was because half of the disc doesn't actually have anything in it. Like the outside half of the disc doesn't actually have anything in it, so the PlayStation is forced to read the inner half of the disc, which spins faster.
That's really clever.
Yeah, they are magicians. They are magicians.
But yeah, so I got to try a few of the tracks. I got to try 2 tracks from original CTR, so that was Papi Papi's Pyramid and Sewer Speedway.
Oh, Sewer Speedway was always my favorite.
Oh, I love Sewer Speedway. It's the best. It's the easiest to get all the jump boosts on.
Yeah.
And then I tried some of the Nitro Kart tracks.
Yeah, because I've added Nitro Kart tracks as well. I've never actually played that.
Oh, it's basically just CTR and Nitro Kart put together at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, it handled really well. It was very, very familiar, which was nice, because something which I really hated about the Crash Bandicoot remake was because they handled the gameplay a little differently. It just felt really off, especially with that
Yeah,
that ridiculous collision box.
Yeah, it was just down to them using, I believe, the Skylanders engine as opposed to making a new engine.
Yeah.
And yeah, as opposed to the Spyro remake where it handled really, really well. I was much more impressed with the Spyro remake than I was with the Crash remake. Not saying Crash remake wasn't great, but yeah.
Yeah. So I only got to try a few tracks, but I did get to beat IGN at it, so I was happy.
Nice.
So it handled really well. I was kind of glad to see that the colors weren't as washed out as I was expecting it to be. Cause
thank God.
As I said last week, a lot of these remakes have the issue of just washing out the colors. So it was nice to see that. It can still fall a little bit prey to it, but not as much as like something like Crash.
That's honestly a huge relief, yeah, because the color design of Crash Bandicoot and the art style was always really interesting. It was always really colorful, vibrant. I loved it.
So they really let the colors pop and they let them contrast each other now, which is really nice.
Oh yes.
So it makes it easier in the sense that it's easier to see where you're supposed to go, and it's also easier to appreciate the environment around you.
Yes. Oh God, the environments in that series were always just so good.
Yeah, and something
I'm talking about the Naughty Dog games. Everything after just doesn't exist.
Oh yeah. But something which
purist.
I didn't note down in the preview, but I did actually notice. I just didn't write it because I didn't know if it was for sure or not. Is I noticed with the Pro it was running at 60.
Ooh.
So
yeah.
it was a bit interesting to see because
they're
racing
really
games at 60 frames a second are very nice.
Well, that's
they're really squeezing as much as they can out of the Pro at this point. It's fantastic to see.
Yeah.
That's a similar thing with Team Sonic Racing, is it runs at 60 now, whereas like the previous games in the series on the 360 and the PS3 struggled to hit 20. So.
Oh well, to be fair, the 360 and the PS3 generation was a generation of just garbage frame rates.
Well, yeah.
Because I think like Crysis 2 had an average frame rate of like 14.
Nice.
So did your preview, did that make you want to pre-order the game?
No.
Oh, now that's a segue.
Yes.
Wow. We're talking pre-orders.
Yeah.
We will talk pre-orders.
Now that's a segue.
It's sorry, excuse me. It's been I guess a topic that's come up internally with us a little bit in the past couple of weeks, and obviously it's an ongoing discussion in the industry. I just want to get a bit of insight into what you guys think about pre-order culture. Are you for or against it? And do you think that it's still a valid practice? And if so, where is it a valid sort of, business practice?
I remember talking about pre-ordering and arguing with people about pre-ordering 10 years ago. And to see this argument still come up is like, did we learn nothing? Did our forefathers not die for nothing?
If anything, it's gotten worse.
Yeah, it absolutely has. Yeah, it has.
It's a really weird thing because people always get burned by pre-order culture because you have like Anthem, No Man's Sky, pretty much every live service game launched this generation. And they say, "I'm never pre-ordering a game again," and then like the next week they pre-order a game. But it's a really weird case with current pre-orders because there are some moments or some cases where pre-ordering is valid. So you have your special editions that are actually worth getting, and you have consoles because consoles, historically they have supply issues, and it's very hard to get around that because you can only produce so much of the silicon and whatever.
Yeah, you can.
But when it comes to games, I only find there are a few instances where just pre-ordering is a safe bet, and that's with Nintendo games because they're classically good at
because Nintendo
supplying their things very poorly.
Yeah,
and then it's also games like a lot of Japanese games like Persona and Nier Automata. Games like those where the stock just dries up so quickly that it was better to pre-order. But for a lot of the AAA culture, it's kind of needless, and it's just perpetuated a culture where they more or less just gouge content from games and offer it up as a pre-order incentive.
I think
I remember the days of the on disc DLC.
Oh yeah.
But now that was not cool. Not cool.
Yeah, I think the weird thing in the industry right now is as Jordan said, pre-ordering for physical products is still, it can be valid,
Yeah.
especially for those like more niche titles, because like there's been numerous, especially Nintendo Switch, like the JRPGs and stuff that have been coming out. There's been numerous instances where I see people complaining on day one of a game that their local EB got one copy and it was pre-ordered by someone.
I remember you having a headache with the Neo launch because there was no supply in Australia for it.
like there's a lot of like smaller suppliers that rely on some kind of forecasting to know how much of a game to order, especially when it's a game where like the quality is kind of an unknown until it drops, or like the fan base is an unknown until it drops. But like the weird thing that we have now is digital pre-orders, and like that I don't understand, and especially on platforms like PlayStation, where it was only like 2 months ago that they actually introduced a refund policy, like a cancellation policy for them. Because like physical pre-orders, if you don't want it anymore, you can just cancel it and get your money back, and that's what a lot of people do.
With digital pre-orders, not so much.
Well,
it depends on the store, but yeah.
Yeah, of course. But
the stupid thing with digital pre-orders is when this generation started, a digital pre-order was more or less going to, hey Sony or hey Microsoft, I want this game when it comes out. Notify me. That's basically what it was. And then, like 3 or 4 days before release, they would actually take the money. But, publishers caught wind that people, would either get disinterested and they would cancel the digital pre-order. So what they did was they'd start tying things into it, like themes or, little things that you download immediately. And because you downloaded something from that transaction, they take all the money immediately and you can't get a refund.
Yeah.
It's really stupid.
Yeah,
Real
I
shady.
remember a
Real
video
shady.
that we did ages ago when Dave was doing videos for the website, and he did I think it was called like how to get a Black Ops beta code like a tight ass or something like that. It was called. And
Yeah, I think it was
basically
Black Ops 3.
he would pre-order the game on Sony's, on the PSN, and then get the beta code, download the beta code, and then go and cancel the pre-order. So you can't actually do that now. So if you can pre-order a game and get like a beta code, for example, you have to either do it in a store like JBL or something where they give you a printer code and then go and cancel it later. But if you do it digitally, I guess, and this is probably a few more you PC guys, but I guess preloading is a big thing as well.
Yeah, although less and less games are doing it now because it's...
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, from what I've seen anyway, I could be wrong, but a lot of games just aren't doing it anymore.
It's yes and no. So I'm so glad that Final Fantasy 15 on PC got preloading because that was 150 gigs.
Oh, yeah, that was huge.
But you are right. Less and less games are doing it, or it's not actually that they're doing it less. It's they're doing it so much closer to the actual release date, and I think it's just they're getting really worried of people cracking the code before the game's released.
That's been a problem for a while, like for a long time.
And it makes sense, but it's also an easy way around that is to just like make the preload, download most of the files, but like break the end of it, and then have a day one update for PC which fixes it and makes it usable. But,
I mean, I've never preloaded anything, but do they hold off or do it closer to the launch day because of the day one patch, do you think? Or does that have nothing to do with it?
Yeah, I think so.
It's tough because some games, they just have these massive day one patches. If you look at, what was it, the Division 2, the poor PS4 users that bought it physically were met with like a 90 gig download because the
like
disc was just basically a launcher for the download.
The disc had like literally nothing on it. Like
it was
just
it
the
was
launcher.
It was like a 500 meg file which verified the download, and that was it.
And let's not forget Fallout 76 and that patch that was larger than the actual game. And when you bought the PC version, you just got like a paper disc with like a download code on it. You didn't even get like a physical copy.
I mean, look, you could look at so much of Fallout 76 and just learn to not do that.
Yeah. Our game was a disaster from the get-go.
I mean, this whole, I guess this conversation was reignited for us when we were talking, it might have been a couple of weeks ago, and I was talking about what you said, Jordan.
Happy birthday, Jason.
I was looking at my screen and there's, and I saw the name Jason. Anyway, how the Sinking City and also A Plague Tale had, if you pre-ordered the digital copy on the PSN, you got PS4 dynamic themes, and they don't. I mean, a Plague Tale one hasn't. I haven't seen it on the store yet for purchase, and a lot of the time like you never see it. So the only way you can actually get it would be to, do the digital pre-order, which is annoying because I guess when the PS4 sort of first came out, they would throw that code. If you went and bought it physically, you could get that code kind of thing as well. So it wasn't just for digital pre-orders. It was, I guess, if you pre-ordered the physical version, they would, inside the case would be a code for the dynamic theme or whatever. But now it's there, which is a bit of a bummer because as we sort of discussed, I can't remember if it was on the podcast or not, but I'm a bit of a fan for the digital themes.
I think that was for the post show that doesn't exist.
Nice. But yeah, I would. I wouldn't pay $100 for a digital game purely for a PS4 theme. I think digital pricing is way too expensive.
Oh yeah, it sure is. It's atrocious. It's very bad.
Pre-order, and it's a bummer that Sony can't just let me pre-order it, take that theme, and then refund the purchase. Anyway.
Yeah, how dare you not give you stuff for free?
Yeah.
How dare they?
I know. How dare they? Yeah. I'm for and against them. I think it helps, like Kieron was saying, I guess retailers and distributors and whatnot gauge sort of interest levels in that, and it's also a good, I guess, payment plan for some people.
Yeah.
I get the payment plan part, but when it comes to like a lot of AAA games, they have statistics and prior performance numbers to go off of to gauge interest, because generally, especially if you do it with like an annualized series like COD, even though more and more people say they're boycotting it, the numbers grow. And so, you can always put statistics to numbers that are that frequent. And so they can always, predict a certain rise. And so they can allocate stock accordingly.
What I don't get, though, and this is even in regards to payment plans and all that, is when after like E3 or Gamescom or whatever, or Nintendo Direct or whatever, you see people posting, receipts that are like 8 meters long with every game that was announced, like pre-ordered.
Yeah, that's just
like,
fucking
and
dumb.
they're all placeholder prices.
Yeah, I don't understand it, because you have to drop like a deposit on that. So if you pre-order like 50 games, that's like that.
Yeah, well, let's say it's $10 each. That's $500.
Yeah, I know, but like, just that's what baffles me. I get collector's editions and stuff, but I don't. Yeah, that is just.
It depends on what the collector's edition is as well. If you're paying extra just to get a small little, just a tiny figure, then or
an art
why
book.
bother? I don't think art books are that. I don't think they're that bad.
No, I'm joking, because I love art books.
Ah, yes, I too love art books.
I'm glad.
I'm glad that you too enjoy fine art.
But you're right, it does all come down to what's in the content and stuff like collector's edition, because especially Ubisoft. Oh, I hate Ubisoft collector's editions.
Oh,
they're
they have
really good at making
a jillion
such
different
bad
tiers for
statues.
them. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. They charge you like $300 for a piece of plastic that's hollow.
Yeah, God.
I got one last question for you, and then we'll jump to some community responses on this topic. But what are your thoughts? And this could blow out into a big conversation. But what are your thoughts on pre-ordering, unlocking early access to a title?
That's a toughie.
The thing with that is that when you're talking about a game that's finished and available for people to purchase at that early access period, then it's no longer an early access period. They're just making everyone who didn't pay the extra wait, and that's bullshit.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I think
I can get behind that.
If you announce a release date, I think that should be the release date, regardless of.
Yeah, for sure.
Unless you're talking about Anthem, where the people who got early access got a much worse game than everyone else.
Oh yeah, they got shafted.
Jordan loved it.
You're telling me, man.
I'm telling you.
I've never wanted
telling
to
you,
throw my
you loved it.
computer out. I've never wanted to throw my computer out the window so hard. That game was so frustrating. Just to get it to run. It's just the worst.
I loved it.
Oh yeah.
Sounds like a 10 out of 10 to me.
Oh yeah, for sure. A Zactinette.
I've only given one. How many? Have you ever given a 10, Jordan?
Yeah, I gave it to Persona 5.
Azzo, have you given a 10?
I have given a 10, and I regret it because I gave that 10 to Undertale. Lord. And now, like, 4 years later, I'm like, it's like a 6 at best.
Yeah, but Megalovania.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kieron, you've given a couple of 10s, haven't you?
I've had a few 10. Oh, wait. Yeah, I've given a few games a 10.
We're not talking about girlfriends.
I think I gave Super Mario Odyssey a 10.
You
Yeah,
did.
that game deserved a 10. That game was brilliant.
And I think I gave the prequel to Life is Strange 2. I gave that a 10 because it was good and also because it was
the free
free.
one.
So like you can't fault that at all.
True. We might read some community responses here. I don't know if you want me just to read
See what the cool kids have
some,
to say.
or
Yeah,
you
do
guys
the
wanna
voices.
Pick... Oh, that would be too tough. I might pick people's names I can actually pronounce because this could get awkward. We'll reward James Finn for being the first one to reply. This is in regards to do we think pre-ordering is a valid practice still? James Finn writes that I think it's a fair practice because you're lay buying before you pick it up. Securing the edition you want, that you want to get, especially if it's a limited or collector's edition, in case it sells out or doesn't sell enough stock to restock often. He's given Super Dragon Ball Heroes, for example. And you sometimes get pretty nifty pre-order bonuses when doing so. So like the stylus with Mario Maker 2, for example. Yeah, so I guess that's sort of what we were saying about
that relates.
pre-ordering
Again,
to,
that's like the physical side of things. Like there's still valid reasons to do it.
Yeah,
There's another one here I want to read from a retailer, which I'm trying to find. Here we are. Corey Wire? I think.
Yeah.
From a retailer perspective, if there are no pre-orders, there is no way for our buyers to gauge actual interest. At the end of the day, let me see more of this. At the end of the day, if you pre-order a game, no one has a gun to your head to pick it up day one, which is kind of what you were saying, Kieron. If a game is shit, everyone will know about it when the embargo breaks. Honestly, I don't know how my competitors work, but if you decide not to pick up a game you ordered, you are more than welcome to get your deposit back, or better still, put it towards a future order. I get people like it. It has ramifications at the development end, but honestly, there's nothing worse than getting 5 copies of a game in when we should have gotten 200. There have been multiple times when we've had to turn people away for weeks because the local distributor underestimated the levels of interest in the local market. By the time they get more stock pressed, everyone has moved on.
Yeah, that's probably the best reason to pre-order. I think if you're getting a game, like for example, you're getting like a Japanese game that isn't being localized to an extensive degree.
Yeah.
So people have to know how many copies they get.
Well,
once they get that stock, like I remember I was searching for weeks to try and find a physical copy of Octopath Traveler, and I just couldn't find it.
Oh, good God!
Yeah. And now they're getting scalped for like $150 on eBay or something.
Yeah, well, it actually happened. Like it happens with like less niche titles as well. Like Devil May Cry 5. It's been sold out in certain retailers. Well, I think like
that's really
it depends on the retailer, I think, but like there's certain retailers that have been sold out pretty much since launch.
That's really surprising. I thought that Devil May Cry would be lining the shelves.
Yeah, and I think that was
franchise.
That was kind of a case of like both the distributor and the retailers not anticipating how good the reception was going to be.
Yeah,
and that's something you can't really like quantify. So you're kind of relying on people to have their say and put their money down and let them know that they actually want to play it.
Yeah. And the big thing about chain retailers is that if a manager takes initiative and that initiative doesn't really work out, you're buggered. You can't like management is gonna give you a firm slap on the wrist.
Well, that doesn't even happen on a store level anymore. So like it's more important for that reason too, because it's all basically from the top and that's it.
Yeah.
We'll read one more. We'll go Peter Pierre, who writes, "No way. When games are frequently launching with multiple patches or content that is slated for a later release, why would you put money down on a product when you don't know what state it's going to launch in?"
Yeah, that's and that also plays into season passes as well. People used to get season passes and then without knowing how good the actual DLC was going.
Yeah, pre-ordering DLC.
Yeah. That's how egregious it got.
Yeah. There's
What do
been
you
so
mean
many.
how egregious?
Sorry.
What do you mean how egregious it got? Even how egregious it still is.
Yeah, there's so many
absolutely.
season passes that I've paid for that I haven't played the content for because
Oh yeah.
either because it's been bad or it's taken too long or I've just like completely forgotten about the game that it's in. Like,
Do you actually? This sort of goes back to what we were sort of talking about last week. I think it was last week about the episodic games, and when you pre-order a season of that, I guess that's effectively doing the same thing, kind of. It's a season pass.
Yeah.
I guess it's a little bit different because you want that stuff because you want to finish the series.
The last time I did that was for the Telltale Back to the Future game, which ended up being it's all right. It was only all right.
Do you remember Blues and Bullets? I think Kieron might have played that, or at least know of it.
The game that they made like 2 episodes of and gave up.
Yeah, really? Because there wasn't enough interest.
Yeah.
And the guy who
was
plays
shit.
the main guy, well, a little.
A little.
The guy who played the main guy was the voice actor for Geralt, or whatever his name is. From
Oh.
Witcher.
Yeah, that was weird.
Okay.
You know when you
anyway.
You know when you really like someone famous and then you see them doing something horrendous?
Oh god. That's the good old milkshake duck going on.
Yeah. Except not for anything like evil, just for being in something terrible.
Yeah. Oh, okay, right. Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of good answers here for the thing. If you want to be part of the next podcast discussion, you can join our WellPlayed community here on Facebook. You'll find the link or the button to join on our Facebook page, so head there and join in. We might move on to Mario Direct, and I'll let you, Azza and Kieron, and I guess Jordan, take over, because I have not seen it, and I know nothing about it.
Fair enough. The thing I want to point out is that there's an art style that has still yet to be unveiled. When they were showing off all the different art styles that you can do, there's one left. For the love of God, please let it be Yoshi's Island. Please let it be Yoshi's Island.
That would be amazing.
And that's the only thing I would ever put anything in. Like,
The internet's
everything else.
The internet's having a lot of fun with that empty space too. I don't know if you've seen Twitter.
No,
but it's
I
great.
haven't. I'll have to catch up on my memes.
It's not a
usually
visual
a huge
podcast,
meme
so you
lord,
can't see
but-
anything, but go on Twitter.
Okay, I'll do that after the after this podcast is over. But yeah.
So
lots of-
I mean, what did you guys think of the direct, and is Mario Maker 2 going to be everything that you wanted it to be, or?
I think it's
Yeah.
I think it looks awesome.
All it really has to be is just Mario Maker 1 with more stuff, and that's
Well, that's kind of
exactly
what I
it's-
was
what it's
expecting.
looking like. Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's like more than that too. It's
yeah,
it's
they've
you're not
got
just
heaps.
making like Mario games in the vein of games that have already been made. You're making Mario games that nobody's made yet.
Yeah, exactly.
With all the new features.
It
It's
looks
crazy.
It looks so good. Yeah.
So
I'm very
which one of
excited.
us is going to make? Which one of us is going to make Thomas the Tank Engine in Mario Maker?
I volunteer.
Well, that can be a collaborative effort because it's online. It's multiplayer.
Yeah, there's
So,
collaboration
yeah.
now as well. Oh god, that's gonna be great to take down to like a pub. Just get smashed with a mate. Go to a
Well-
pub and take 2 Joy-Cons, 1 Joy-Con each, and just
That's it. Like
get that collaborative effort
I
going.
want to start having like dinner parties where we split up into teams and each team makes a game for the other team and then they have to try and finish them.
Oh, that's a great idea. Yeah, I already do that with Jackbox on my Switch, because Jackbox is just a fantastic game to have on the Switch.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
Jackbox is great.
Jackbox is fantastic.
I crack out Jackbox 5 and Madverse City on the regular.
Oh, that's so good. I love Madverse City. And I
Anyway,
think we're getting a little bit off topic.
Mario Maker.
All right, Mario Maker.
Did they talk about anything else in the direct? Like, I don't
No,
know.
it was
No.
just that. Oh, actually, no, they
You
did
s-
talk
you-
about the discount thing.
Oh yeah, the Switch Online discount. So basically, you get like discount coupons for certain games now.
You can pre-order 2 games that you don't know what game it is yet until you decide you want to buy it.
Yeah.
So, pre-orders.
I mean, it's still not worth it on principle, but I mean, it's $20 a year. Like, come on, I'm poor, and even I can afford that. They're not really not asking for much.
So you get the game for $20? Is that what you're saying?
No,
sorry.
that's the price of the online service.
Oh yeah.
Basically, what they announced is that if you have an online subscription, you can buy a voucher that's redeemable for any 2 Nintendo first-party games that you can use anytime within a year, and it works out roughly like $20-$30 cheaper than if you were buying them individually. It's weird. It's like a coupon system.
So what that means is everyone should start buying Splatoon 2 and repopulate the servers.
Yes, please, God. I want an excuse to start playing Splatoon again. It's so much fun, but no one's
It's
playing.
so good.
I need
And all
to
the
get a
people-
gaming. Sorry.
And all the people playing are all like, they're all Japanese people with like
Oh yeah,
maximum
so you get
level.
shot yeah,
and
you get
better
shot
internet.
from halfway across the field.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen Raw Men? The
No.
Splatoon clone with naked dudes carrying soup.
Oh,
yes,
yes, that's right.
yes.
That looks really, really silly. And I love
to
I
get
like
a
how
PC.
everyone
games.
didn't know what you're talking about when you said Splatoon 2. But as soon as you mentioned like naked dudes, like everyone's like, oh yeah.
floppy
That's the
wieners
only
going
bit that
around.
we
That's my
remember.
kind of game.
Well, because I was thinking of a video I saw the other day, but not the game.
Nice.
Yeah. I do
shouldn't
love
have seen that
silly
video.
games, so I'll be checking that out. I do love me some
Yeah,
weird
that's pretty sick.
games.
Have you heard of Wanking Simulator as a?
Yes. I am
Let's
very
not
excited
go-
for Wanking
let's
Simulator.
not go there.
I do remember the days of the novelty simulator, and I'm sad that those days are I'm both sad and kind of like, yeah, all right, that those days are behind us.
I think it's
Those
reached
goat
its
simu-
zenith
those
with
goat
Wanking
simulator,
Sim.
yeah. Yeah.
Did you ever
There's
play?
nothing's gonna be better than that.
Did you ever play Buttercutting Simulator?
No, I did not.
Man, you missed game of the generation.
Did I?
Oh yeah, you get to cut butter.
Oh, dude, I love cutting butter. That's my every time I get up in the morning, I make my toast. I think, yes, I get to cut butter.
Have you ever wanted your slices of butter to like phase right through your kitchen bench?
Just turn on your no clip and grab butter out of the cupboard.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Speaking of butter, we might move on to some news.
Butter our audience up for some news.
We'll start with what should we start with? We'll go with the Microsoft E3 leak that was posted by
yeah, boy.
Game Rant. Game Rant a couple of days ago. It's from a guy called Browdia from NeoGAF, who apparently has the inside hot ticket on what's going on. And
Does he
there's
though?
a whole list of stuff. Well, I mean, he claims to be. So
Yeah, he did back it up with lots of press passes he has and lots of business cards from the studios he has. I mean, it's still an anonymous dude on the internet, but it's fun to speculate. It's fun.
which means he's telling the truth.
Yes.
And a lot of his speculations make sense.
They do. Even if they don't make sense, I really just want Age of Empires 4 to be a thing again. Please.
Yeah, I mean, there's some here that are fairly obvious. If you do read the link that the article by Game Rant, he's actually broken them down into, I think, sure things, likelies, and possiblies, or something like that.
Yeah.
And I guess, I mean, is there anything here that sort of took your guys' interest at all?
So I am very excited to see what's going to happen with Halo Infinite.
Oh, yes.
I've wanted 343 to make a good Halo game for a while.
And they've
Is
got
that
Mario.
so you can make more memes?
Yeah.
They broke my heart.
It's all
with
for the
Halo
memes.
5.
It's all for the memes.
Oh yeah, oh sure. Man, Halo memes is like the best page. I'm a part of a Halo shit posting group.
Oh,
the best
yeah,
day.
yeah.
It's the best part of my day because they just
Yeah.
come up with some absolute trash. And Ori and the Will of the Wisps just looks
Ooh,
so good,
yeah,
and I want to see
it's-
more of
Well,
it.
those are both sure bets for E3 though, of course. Like,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they have to show off Halo Infinite, and they have to show off Marty O'Donnell coming back to do the soundtrack. Mwah! That is going to be the best shit. Yeah, it's going to be so good.
Yeah. So they say here that both Halo Infinite and Ori will have trailers with release dates, pretty much. And you would think that Ori would be... I mean, that's been in development for quite a while now. You'd think that would be pretty close to release.
Hopefully. But from the looks of things, most of their bigger games are coming out next year, and they'll probably come out on the new Xbox. Because,
yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of cross-gen stuff.
Yeah, the Xbox One has been a little bit of a train wreck.
All right, new Xbox. I forgot because PC.
Kieran, is there anything that that you like the look of here? I know that we will share a common interest with one of them.
Are you talking about Dino Crisis?
I am talking about Dino Crisis.
I think it's interesting that like this like supposed leak has like tiers of whether it might happen or whether it's definitely going to happen. Like if it's a leak, it should be, like if it's real information, it should just be fact. But at any rate, the mid-tier high chance of happening stuff says that there might be a new Capcom game that's maybe a Resident Evil 3 remake or maybe a new Dino Crisis, and I would be very, very happy if there was a new Dino Crisis game.
What if it's
same?
I hope they do. I hope they do something different that's not Resident Evil. Because they've obviously done Resident Evil 7 and now Resident Evil 2. They've probably thrown Resident Evil 4 out somewhere in between that as well.
Well, it just came out on the Switch this week.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it did.
And I think
it's continuing its march onto every platform.
And I think at the end of the month, either Resident Evil or Resident Evil 0 is going to the Switch.
Yeah, I knew there was a bunch of the older ones. I thought 4 was already out on the Switch for some reason. But yeah, no, I do hope a new Dino Crisis is announced. That would be very cool.
I like the wording that it's a supposed new Dino Crisis game too, and not a remake, which is
a new one.
Might be nice.
I would like a bit of both. I would like to see Regina come back. She was probably my fave.
I wouldn't mind like a soft reboot, like a reimagining of
everything.
A soft reboot seems like a good compromise when you're bringing back a series that not a lot of people will remember.
Yeah.
After Dinos in Space, I mean, that series just died. That series died in space. And Battletoads would be another one I'm keen to see.
That'll definitely be there as well.
But is it coming out on the Wii? If you want some of your real old school memes.
Wow.
Yeah, because just to touch on what Kieran said, with the tier, the chances of there's one here. He's also got stuff that have a small chance of happening, and one of them is Xbox Game Studios acquisitions, with one of them being Asobo, who are the guys that did A Plague Tale, which I can't see happening because Focus Home, who published A Plague Tale, they announced that they were working with Asobo again like a month ago. So I doubt that they'd be. Yeah, I can't see that.
Yeah, it's a bit of a weird
happening.
crossover of things.
Yeah.
But that also does say next gen rare game and Perfect Dark reboot, which would be cool. So
yeah,
I just want to forget that Perfect Dark 0 exists. I just want to forget that. That's all I want.
That's the best one.
I also
I'll come to your house. I'll come to your house.
I want to see more Bleeding Edge because Ninja Theory killed it with Hellblade.
Good time. So we'll move on. This year, I think you probably, and you too, Jordan, might get a bit excited over this, but it's the 10th year anniversary for Minecraft.
Yay!
Best part is Notch isn't a part of it.
Yeah, who's Notch? I thought Miku made the game. Thanks, Hatsune Miku, for making Minecraft. Thank you very much.
She makes everything. So
yeah, she makes everything. Yeah, it's weird to see Minecraft, such an iconic game as Minecraft, become a 10-year-old game. Like a lot of us will have a lot of people our age will have personal memories with it, especially people who. No. Well, aren't you just a special child? Yeah, it's just, and to see a game that helped kickstart the indie revolution that we're currently in right now. Like one of the games that proved that indie games weren't just something that were plopped onto, back then, the Xbox Live Marketplace, which was probably the best place to get console indie games back in the day. And for a game to prove that, you can make lots of money with these indie games.
Yeah, it has been crazy to see, especially when you look at all the things that has changed with the game in that 10-year run. It's like you can't look at Minecraft back then and compare it to how it is now because they're basically completely two different games.
Oh
It's
yeah,
just changed
absolutely.
so much.
It's like
Can
with
you
my
give me a quick explanation of what Minecraft is now compared to what it was?
So Minecraft back then was a very restrictive survival game. It was focused more on being creative rather than having any actual survival elements. There wasn't really a lot of purpose to its progression tree, so once you realistically got the mid-tier tools, you're kind of good. Um, but then they started adding more and more updates, which added more depth to the game. So you had more biomes, which is different areas that spawn in the world generation. There was a bit of a controversial update at 1.8, I think, where they changed the way the world generated.
I remember that. Yeah, that was
Where like it was just it became purely random and there was like no form of like logic to its world generation. But outside of that, you know, they added more mobs, they added more depth to the fighting mechanics, they added the hunger meter. They reintroduced the creative mode because when Minecraft originally launched, it was just a creative mode with like, I think it was like 9 blocks only in the game.
Yeah, there were only
that was
nine
all
or
you
10
had to
blocks.
work with.
That was
And now it's
yeah.
got like 500-600 blocks and items or whatever. And yeah, they're just continually updating it. And like, what was like 2-3 weeks ago, they had the Village and Pillage update, which kind of reintroduced some validity to the villages and like actually added more content for you to do. And they've added stuff like phantoms, which are like this really cool mob where if you don't sleep or die for 3 days, it just stalks you and tries to kill you. But you get some really cool items, and then you have like stuff like the aquatic update. It's changed so much since its initial release. It's kind of crazy.
It's absolutely insane just seeing that game go from the bare bones game it was back then to like multimedia juggernaut now.
Yeah, for sure.
So, for the 10-year anniversary, I think you were saying they've done, or some people have done some cool stuff with Minecraft. So, like the Victorian government or
yes,
something?
the Victorian government, not necessarily for the 10th anniversary, but they've recreated the entire city of Melbourne in Minecraft for educational purposes.
Didn't some like Sweden or Denmark? Didn't one of those kind of countries do that a while ago?
Yeah, there are a lot of countries that do stuff like that, but it's the first time that we've got some locally grown city recreations.
Yeah. It's
Shame it
pretty
had to be Melbourne though.
Hey,
cool. It's better than Sydney.
I was gonna say Perth, but okay, whatever.
I can simulate going to work. It's gonna be great.
You've also got listed here something about Minecraft Earth.
So they announced a
AR game for mobile, I believe.
a Pokemon Go-esque experience where you basically, you know, using GPS, you go around the world and pick up Minecraft blocks and you can use them to build things, and you build things in AR. And the cool thing is, I think, the coolest thing about it that got me really excited is that you can, it looks like you can collaboratively build little Minecraft worlds in using augmented reality, and other people can join in and also see what you're building in real time, which is I think like probably my favorite sort of evolution of that idea.
Yeah, that's
So what you're saying is you can all build Thomas the Tank Engine.
Yes. In fact, this is a call to arms. Everybody, build a massive Thomas the Tank Engine, as big as you can. Do it for the country.
It's all we got left.
Please.
Oh yeah, I've never ever played Minecraft or had any interest in it, but it sounds like a lot of people are quite keen on it, and it's good to see it's going on 10 years, and hopefully for you fellas who like it,
It brings a tear to my eye, it does.
a bit longer.
Brings a tear to
We'll
my
move on
eye.
though. I can't remember when this was announced, but Sony, it might have been actually today even, Sony are establishing an in-house film studio to adapt its franchises.
Yes, adapt it to film and TV. Which
Does that mean that photo we had of Jason Momoa being Kratos might actually become a thing.
the fake poster that ended up. Yeah. Will that be real?
That killed our Facebook. Reached over 2 million people. 50% of them were like from the Philippines.
And from the looks of things, Sony are taking the Marvel approach as well, where they don't license stuff out to other people, but they make all the stuff inside. So it's an in-house development studio.
Does that affect, like, don't they have a couple of things in production already?
They had the God of War documentary earlier.
Yeah,
earlier this year. Well, I think earlier this month.
If you could see a TV show or a movie of, I guess, any of the PS4 franchises, which one would you choose? And would it be a movie or a TV show?
Spider-Man.
Spyro.
No.
A Spyro movie.
A speed racer adaptation of Wipeout.
Oof.
That sounds terrible.
Weirdly specific and probably horrible.
And get some classic EDM in as well.
Hell yeah.
Right. I'm down for that.
Obviously, you have to make it full on campy.
A medieval TV show could be funny.
Yeah,
that'd be fun.
Cool.
I'd watch that.
Yeah,
I'd be keen to see probably a TV show for The Order. You know.
Oh yeah,
yes. Your favorite game of all time. The one nobody remembers. Somebody's gonna be sipping their tea or their coffee, and they're gonna hear The Order, and they're like, "Oh yeah,
fellas,
that was a game."
Fellas, we're really missing something here. A movie from in the universe of Knack.
You know what? It wouldn't surprise me if they were
it'll
developing.
tie into Knack 3. Knack 3.
It wouldn't surprise me if they had like a children's like CG animated TV show.
Well, hey, they had a Skylanders TV show. Like
exactly.
And that was horrifying.
Yeah, they made Crash Bandicoot speak, and he had a really bad accent, and it just made me want to drink copiously.
Sounds.
Do you want to talk about it, or
yeah?
In other news, Microsoft and Sony are collaborating on cloud gaming solutions to beat Amazon and Apple, and potentially, I guess, Google with their Google Stadia platform. What do you think of that?
Yeah, this is probably the biggest step towards industry like congealing, an industry congealing towards a more streamlined solution, which I'm happy for, but I'm also very cautious. Like, we saw what happened with Steam. If there's time will tell to see how well it plays out.
I like the idea. I like the idea of Sony and Microsoft working together on something, obviously, and the implications that it has for things like crossplay and.
If it means Sony actually start doing crossplay, that'll be great.
Yeah, and just making Sony's like online services in general better is always going to be a good thing, because there's obviously more people on that network than anything else, and so having Microsoft technology behind it would be great. But I kind of also like the idea, like, it's probably a bit of a stretch, but the idea that in the future, hardware will be just sort of a gateway to those services, and to think that Sony and Microsoft might still have their own hardware that competes and their own exclusives that compete, but also like a synergy with third-party stuff that isn't platform exclusive would be cool.
We also have to think about how Nintendo plays into this as well, because Nintendo and Microsoft have already announced plans to collaborate, with Microsoft putting things like Xbox Live on the Nintendo Switch and stuff.
Yeah. It's kind of like it's this weird period where anything could happen at the moment, and you could wake up.
They're all coming together under Microsoft's cloud banner to...
Well, no, because when it comes to the cloud banner, Nintendo are already using Google services, I believe, for Assassin's Creed Origins in Japan, aren't they?
Yes, they did have a small trial there.
I think the fact that they're using Google for that technology for that trial there is more just a byproduct of the fact that they're using like Android based hardware and stuff. Is probably easier than doing anything else.
Yeah, it's also indicative of Japan's internet generally being pretty good.
Well, yeah.
And
I guess the last bit of news, that we have here to talk about is I guess some PS5 news and some PS4 news with The Verge have reported, well, I guess probably many other sites report as well, but the one we got here is from The Verge, and that Sony demonstrated, was it actually leaked, or was it actually, did they just do it?
It was at an investor relations meeting.
Yeah, so Sony demoed the PS5 load times, because we all read that article from Wired, I believe it was, about how the PS5's load times were, like 5, 6 times, 8 times, 100 times the amount of the PS4. So yeah, that's quite exciting.
Yeah, it's kind of like, it seems like their messaging for PS5 is pretty much going to be 0 load times, or like, you know, the end of long load screens, because they're really kind of
fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Do you think, while we just keep on PS5 for a bit, do you think the way that they've delivered the information on the PS5, you know, especially the early information, has been a bit different?
I think it's indicative
maybe?
I think it's indicative of how they're going to handle the leap to the next generation, and that it's not going to be a leap like it has been previously. It's not going to be an event. It's not going to be everyone changing, like throwing out their old consoles and you know, starting a new life with a new machine. It's just going to be an update and a sort of like a crossover. Like part of the news that came out today or yesterday was that Sony have said, like, pretty much stated that they're going to be supporting the PS4, and that's going to be a core part of their strategy for at least 3 more years.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be almost like the PS4 Pro, maybe on a little bit of a larger scale, but it's going to be, you know, hang on to your PS4s if you want to, or if you want the best experience, move over. It's not going to be, you know, burn everything you had.
It's not going to be a life and death situation as it used to be.
Yeah.
So that's it. So crossplay is basically 120% confirmed. Because I'm not sure, did they actually announce that previously? So
like backwards compatibility?
Yeah. Oh yes, sorry. Would I say crossplay?
You said crossplay.
I did. Sorry, wrong.
Yeah, no, they said that
crossplay
they
between. Yeah,
they said that from the beginning. Yeah.
Did they?
Yeah, they did. They are pushing the backwards compatibility hard, because I think a lot of people were bummed out from the lack of backwards compatibility for the PS4. Particularly people who had come over from the PS3 and they've got heaps of PS3 games.
Sorry, I'm meaning that, you know, we'll definitely get, you know, big games like Cyberpunk, you know, being both plats now.
Yeah, I think they will.
Oh, okay.
Multi-platform, you mean?
Yeah, that's what I was. Yeah, not crossplay. I knew what I
cross-gen.
What I meant, all right. You know, yeah, cross-gen, whatever. But no, the way that I guess Sony, debuted all that information with Wired is very similar to the way Microsoft did that. I've forgotten their name now. Who's that tech site? Engadget? No, not Engadget. Digital Foundry for the Xbox One X. I was just surprised that Sony wouldn't. You know, I feel like Sony love to publicly show how awesome they are.
I think it's a different strategy from them, because a lot of the industry has this weird behavior when it comes to hearing about all these tech specs, at least, where they kind of boast these numbers. Not the companies themselves, but the people that read it. If they don't actually understand it, they kind of boast them baselessly. So they've more or less released the details to the people that will actually, you know, make sure that the information is out there in a concise manner that educates people.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's one of the arguments, but I guess, you know, showing that fast load time would definitely, you know, get a reaction from people, but I guess, you know, you're right, you know, a lot of just normal gamers, I guess, if you want to call them that, just care about when's it coming out, how much is it going to cost.
Yeah, and it's even then, because I remember when the Xbox One X was coming out, every Microsoft fanboy was just going on about the teraflops without having any idea what teraflops meant.
I remember the teraflops.
I still don't even know what a teraflop is.
It's the floppiest console.
It's basically a part of the compute power for the graphics processor.
Yeah, don't know what that means either.
It means you can use it as a wobble board if you want.
Don't know what that means either.
Big number mean good performance.
It's like when Sega used to talk about blast processing. What's blast processing? I don't know. Just means it works faster. Just means it's better.
When Sony had cell processing and not even they knew how to use it.
Oh yeah, that's right. Cell processing.
Yep.
Is that like your mates at Apple when it comes to Retina display?
They're not my mates.
You're there. They are your mates. You love them.
Oh yeah, for sure.
He loves them.
Do you have an iPhone?
Regrettably so, yeah.
Case confirmed. Case closed.
That's the only reason you have an iPhone in the year of our Lord 2019.
Well, I mean, it works well with my Mac, which I use for producing this show.
See?
All right.
See?
Apple. Again.
Sponsored by
Not
Apple.
one, but two Apple devices. Next thing we know, he'll have an Apple TV in his room.
Yeah, probably does.
I actually have two in my house.
The
plot
prophecy has come true.
I mean, just I guess as a bit of fun, when do we think the PS5 will launch, and how much do you reckon it'll cost?
I think 2021.
Ooh.
I meant like a
yeah.
month, like
I-
month
I-
and
I'm-
a year, I guess.
I'm gonna say
I'm
like
thinking-
November 2020.
Yeah, I think I'd say November, September 2020.
Yeah, November. Yeah, actually.
I'd
yeah.
probably looking at the specs. I'd probably
Yeah.
say
Like
650.
A few months after like the mainstream market release of stuff like the Navi architecture and stuff. Like
Actually, Navi's been rumored to release Q3 this year.
really?
Yeah,
Really?
Interesting.
That is interesting.
it might be
So
them trying to get all the drivers.
Very
and
cool.
It's probably just them trying to get all the drivers and the architecture as stable as possible for console adaptation.
Mm.
I'm going October 2020.
Later on in
Right.
the year is good because having a console come out in Christmas is basically guaranteed
All right.
to make it sell like hotcakes.
Yeah.
It's an easy ticket.
I'm gonna record this podcast so that we can come back to it and see if everyone was correct.
Please do, and then we can find out how wrong
I'll
we
just
were.
hit record now.
All right, another question. Just do you reckon we'll see one of Sony's big exclusives before the launch of the PS5? Like Last of Us 2.
We'll see one or two. We'll see one or two max.
I think The Last of Us 2 is a pretty sure bet now.
I think Last of Us 2 and Ghost of Tsushima are more or less pretty sure bets. Because Ghost of Tsushima seemed pretty, at least for the main framework of it, was pretty polished.
that one level.
Yeah. Look, that's more than the order had.
Can't. You leave the order as. I reckon the order 2, 1887, is going to be PS5 exclusive. I mean, launch title.
Perhaps the Order 1888. They'll go a Battlefield
you.
naming convention.
Yeah, true. Actually, I reckon they'll remake 1886.
No, I think they'll remake Troll and I think that's what's going to happen.
I think I read that Death Stranding would be. They said it would be a PS4 title, but I wonder if that refers to just being a PS4 title when it comes out. Because I can't remember the exact context of what it said, but it sounded like it would release. But yeah, it was hard to gauge if it meant before the PS5 or just while the PS4 was in.
No, it's very difficult to tell, especially with somebody like Kojima, who's a very much a it'll be done when it's done kind of director.
Kojima could do anything too. He could release his own. He could release his own console just for that game.
He could. He probably
like
would
Soulja
too.
Boy.
with his fucking Konami redundancy payment.
Do we think there's a chance that they could hold off on all of these titles for the launch of the PS5 and just have the world's best launch ever?
No, I wouldn't say so. Considering that how long they want to keep supporting the PS4, I think
it'll be a simultaneous
think-
release still.
I think they might. It's possible they do the strategy that Nintendo did with Breath of the Wild, where they held it off and did a simultaneous release.
Yeah. And now it's basically impossible to find the Wii U port of Breath of the Wild.
I think that all those games
That's
are going to
because
do
it
well
sucks.
enough, like on the PS4 alone, that if they release them all on the PS4 and the PS5 at the same time, they can basically double dip and be like, well, you can get it on this console, or you can buy this console and get the better version.
You can get it on this console with shinier graphics.
Okay, what if they did a Last of Us 1, for example, where it came out PS3 and then didn't that come out a few months before the PS4 actually came out?
It came out on the PS3 and then it came out a few months later as a remaster.
Yeah.
And will they remaster the first game again?
And then everybody else had to buy it again, like me.
Well, it won't surprise me if they do that, but I think especially with the backwards compatibility being such an easy thing now because they're using such similar and incremental architectures. It wouldn't surprise me if buying a PS4 copy also acts as a PS5
Yeah,
copy.
like you
And
could
so
just put it in the PS5 and play it with a, like a patch.
any benefits you would have for having a PS5 copy would just be held under, say, like a PS5 patch, for putting in the PS4 copy.
That makes a lot of sense.
And I was gonna.
That's probably the easiest way to go about it.
I was gonna bring that up. Do you think that there's a chance that we know that publishers like to make as much money as they can? Could they could they have like a paywall for a PS4 game to be, I guess, compatible with PS5? So let's say hypothetically, The Last of Us 2 comes out in April, and then the PS4 comes out in October, and they go, okay, here's a PS5 upgrade patch, but it's $15.
They did that.
I wouldn't say so. I wouldn't say so.
No.
They, I'm pretty sure that EA or like 2K or someone did that with a couple of their sports titles. They had like a paid program where you could pay an extra like $20 if you bought the game less than a year ago and get the upgrade to the PS4 version from the PS3. So,
yeah, I think that's right.
So
I mean,
some publishers would probably have a go at it.
Yeah, because if you go, okay,
they'll definitely try something like that.
I mean, Minecraft did that as well.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did.
Whatever.
Maybe there'll be like a currency that you can buy to open a loot box to get like a different console version.
Oh God, please,
You get the PS2
please.
version.
You said the magic
FIFA
words.
20.
Please.
All right, well, we might move into some light off-topic chatter before we wrap things up. I know last week we had a very awkward and tense.
Oh yeah,
moment
Kieron, how
where,
was your date with Zach for John Wick 3?
I got shut down live on podcast.
Well, you did get shut down, and I went and saw John Wick 3.
And I haven't seen it yet, so
I have
So
not
you
seen
wanna
John Wick yet
hear-
either.
You want to hear what happens? Spoiler alerts?
does he kill
I know
people?
what happens.
Spoiler
There are credits at the end.
No, it's very good.
Yeah,
If
the other
you-
two
if you
films
like-
have been very good. So
Yeah, I mean, if you like those two, it's you know
Where-
what you're.
Where would
getting.
you rank it in the series?
That's
so
actually a good question. I've been wondering that since I've seen it.
Where would it sit in between the Order 1886 and Troll and I?
It's definitely above Trial and I.
Ooh,
But not quite above
ooh.
the Order. Yeah, in terms of, I'm a big fan of John Wick 2, so I think John Wick 2 is my favorite.
I think the first one was my favorite.
Oh,
Yeah.
they're both so good though.
They are very good.
But yeah, then it gets tough. There's just a couple scenes in number 2 that I just really like. I do think that 3 has better action scenes, if you want to call it, and even the fighting is like, those scenes are awesome. And it probably has the single best kill of any John Wick film so
Ooh,
far.
okay.
Ooh, building the suspense.
There is. Did you say you hadn't seen John Wick 2, Azza? Or you have seen 2?
No, I have seen 2.
So yes, I think my favorite kill before this one was the one where he's under the tunnel in under the Colosseum, and he holds the shotgun to the guy's chest, and he reloads the shotgun, and that was probably my fave.
Yeah,
but I think this one, in
that was my favorite too. But if you think it's better, then I think I'm in for a ride. I'm in for a ride.
Based on probably both your interests, I think you'll also enjoy it more so.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Give several
That's
reasons
interesting.
I don't want to give too much away, because
Yeah,
if
of
I
course,
tell
of
you
course.
what he uses, for example, then
Oh,
whenever
boy.
you see that, when you see a scene that you go, okay, this is gonna, I kind of, because I didn't know it was coming, because I basically watched the first trailer and then I just didn't watch anything else.
Like
I
a
wanted to
good
sort of,
boy.
go in and see it, and no, it's definitely very cool.
Very cool.
It does. Oh yeah, I'll wait for you guys to see it. There are a couple things that I thought were a bit odd, about the way the story kind of went. It just kind of, it's hard. Yeah, I won't say too much, but just the way that it sort of goes midway through the film, and how the high table fit into it all, and that sort of part of it, I was like, oh, that's a bit disappointing.
Oh, that's a shame.
But I mean, it doesn't really take anything away from the, because it's an action film. I'm there to see the action pretty much. But no, it's very good.
And the action in John Wick is just so good. Just so good.
And they announced that there'd be a number 4 this week.
Yeah.
I think that was
Nice.
announced
Yes.
yesterday with
Yes.
the 2021 release date. I think I saw.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
May
go pre-order
21st,
my tickets right
2021, I
now.
think.
Do it.
John Wick 4
Yeah,
for the
yeah.
PS5.
Have you? Maybe we'll go see that one, Kieran.
Nah.
Look, listen, you're
Yeah,
making the
see?
plans now. You have to do it.
No, I just wanted him to, get one back at me.
Yeah, I had thank you for that. Fuck you.
No worries.
Thank you.
Hey, we're still gonna go see Godzilla, so
Yeah.
Oh, who are you
It's all
barracking?
in there.
What team are you on? What Godzilla
Team
team are you
Mothra.
on? Team
Mothra.
Mothra, my man. A man of taste, I see.
there's a very cool song by a band called Atom Ship, which Jordan might like. Maybe you all might not like it. Quite old, and it's about Mothra. So
I've heard the song. I've heard
Nice.
the song. It is a banger.
Yeah,
I love
So that
songs
one comes
about
out in a
pop
couple
culture
weeks.
monsters.
Who doesn't?
You heard
I
Birdo
have
by
also-
Health?
Sorry.
Oh my god. What's the Azza? Do you know what I'm talking about? Because I'm talking about a different band than what I'm saying.
I didn't hear what you said.
I'm too busy cackling.
Okay, cool. Let's Jordan can edit that part out.
You know what? I'm
You can
gonna
edit that
boost
out
the
in
audio.
post. You can edit that out.
Has anybody else watched anything or seen anything, heard anything,
Um,
any cool
I-
albums out or whatever?
I watched the last episode of Game of Thrones yesterday.
I haven't watched
Do we
that
have
yet.
do we have Game of Thrones fans in here?
I
I like
watch
the
it.
cast.
I watch it just to be included.
Oh yeah.
I've heard that there was a plastic bottle in one of the scenes.
Yeah, there was. I actually noticed it when we were watching it, and I tried to point
Is
it
it-
out to everybody, and everybody was like, "No, no, there isn't. What are you talking about? It's there. No, it's there. I'm not going crazy. It's there, Mum."
Have you signed the petition
No,
to?
no. This is what fan fiction is for. This is what fan fiction is for, or fan edits. I'm more than keen to come back in like 2 years when somebody's edited the episodes together to be more pleasing. I'm just waiting for that.
Azza, are you going to write a fan fiction where Jon Snow spends the entire episode patting Ghost?
How do you know I haven't already?
Because you've been playing that. Oh, I forgot what game it was.
Iron Curtain.
Yeah, that one.
Iron
I-
Curtain, yeah.
Matryoshka.
I'm gonna jump on Dreams after this podcast. I'm gonna make Ghost Petting Simulator.
Yes, do it.
Um,
There'll be a light petting button and a heavy petting button.
as
Yes,
a series, after watching the final episode, thumbs up or thumbs down?
The
you.
final season, thumbs down. They just
No, the whole thing.
no the whole
So the way
the whole
from-
thing.
from the way for the way it ended and everything.
The first few seasons when they had source material, they were excellent. But it's the same thing with anime. As soon as it runs out of source material, that's when it just starts going off the rails. And Game of Thrones took its sweet time getting off the rails. It lured us into a false sense of security that, oh, okay, maybe it won't be so bad, and then the train just derails
The
and
first
kills
3
everyone
episodes
aboard.
were okay.
They were,
Like, they weren't horrible.
yeah.
They were
think
like the second episode was great. I think.
Yeah, I think
Was-
after the Battle of Winterfell, it just kind of like, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Was the
That's
coffee cup in the first 3 episodes? The last 3?
First,
It was in the.
it was the episode after the battle. So I think episode 4. Episode 4.
Okay, that explains it.
Do you think that series that go for long seasons, or so that they have many seasons, it's very hard for the writers to have a finale that will satisfy most of the
Yeah,
fan base?
yeah. Because the longer shows go on, generally the longer that newer writers who haven't been around since the beginning will have to rely on notes. They don't have like that rapport with the showrunners, and maybe the show will get new showrunners. And yeah, it doesn't necessarily happen to all shows, but the longer a show goes on, the more likely that is to happen. Like,
And you get so much more character development as well. So you have so many more loose ends to tie up at the end of
Yeah,
a
I mean, just
long-running
look. I
show.
mean, just look at The Simpsons. That's the epitome of that going terribly wrong.
They don't know how to put the brakes on that, so they're just going to keep going.
It's
forever.
it's just a zombie show at this point. Just put it down. Just Yellow Alert. Take it out to the back and put it down, please.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like all the series I've watched with that are long. You know, in terms of how many seasons, I feel like all the finales have been a bit disappointing, a bit shit.
Yeah,
I can't think of one that I was like that was actually a really cool ending.
I don't know.
Maybe
I like.
Entourage, but I can't remember the ending.
I think The Big Bang Theory just ended. I love that.
Yeah, that had nice closure.
I love that it ended.
I've just loved that it ended. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's nice that it ended, but at least, you know, it wasn't a bad ending like How I Met Your Mother.
Oh God!
yeah,
Don't
man,
get me started.
That's what I was. Yeah, that's. Yeah.
You know what series
Didn't
had a
like
great
that.
ending though? Firefly.
I haven't seen it.
Serenity was a good ending to that show. The movie afterward was a good ending to that show. I think
Also haven't seen it. Sorry about that.
you should. They're very good. They are very good.
It's like
pieces
John
of
Wick,
media.
but totally different.
I'll tell you what. If you watch The Rain, which I talked about last episode,
Oh yeah,
then I will consider watching Firefly.
done and done.
All right. It's Danish too, so you might like that.
Ooh yes, I do love my Europe.
Yeah. Anybody else got anything else you want to talk about?
Detective Pikachu is fun. Not
We touched on that a little bit
so-
last time.
That's so last week, man. Come on.
That's last week.
Oh,
isn't it?
oh,
Do you
Jesus
even listen
Christ.
to the
It was
podcast?
I
Someone
forgot.
hasn't
Leave
listened
me
to it.
alone. Leave me alone. Don't bully me. It's fun. It's a good film. I like it.
It was fun. A lot of fun.
Was Ryan Reynolds better in that or in the Green Lantern?
No, Green Lantern's his best performance. Like,
Yeah, you can't beat perfection.
come on, yeah.
I
Like,
actually
did
have
you
that film
see
on
the?
Blu-ray too.
Did you see the? Or is
it
it green?
very
No,
surprised.
no, it's Green Ray.
Oh, that's I like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's better than anything in that film.
Yeah,
It's better writing.
Hi me, DC. Hi me. I'll make
CGI for.
because why not?
Oh God.
So,
I love
Zach,
Green
let me
Lantern.
ask you.
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern or The Visit?
Oh, I hate The Visit. It's got to be Green Lantern.
Ooh,
The Visit is the
man.
worst film ever made, ever.
Kieran's
that
gonna
is
get
that-
mad.
is that the one where the kids go to their grandparents' house, like the M Night
Yes.
Shyamalan movie? Oh, that's awful.
Yes, it is awful. It is just stupid. And Kieran, not different Kieran.
I was
he
going to say,
loves
don't lump me in with him.
it. Yeah, Kieran Stockton from the website. It's probably his favorite film. It's actually not, but it'd be up there.
Yeah. It'd be up there.
Wow.
He'd be like second.
Cancel him.
Cancel.
Anyway, well, good chat, boys.
good stuff.
Lovely
Good
to
chat.
speak to you again.
It's lovely to be on for the very
do it all
first
again
time.
next week.
Congratulations,
Yes.
Azza, on the first time on the podcast.
Yay!
You get to go to work now. I'm
Yay! I get to go bring home the bacon. Please help me.
told. No.
So, are we all gonna play Dauntless after this?
Oh,
But yes, that came out. When did that come out?
Well, it's supposed to launch like later tonight because it's going on
Yeah.
for American times. But yeah, and
Yeah.
it's cool. It's a free to play, completely cross play Monster Hunter kind of game.
Very cool. What are you playing this week? For the rest of the week, Kieran?
I am probably just going to smash out a lot more Team Sonic Racing, I think. And
Nice.
maybe get around to actually finishing Rage 2.
Very cool. Well, thank you for the chat. It's been lovely to speak. Hope you all enjoyed our third episode, and we'll see you next week.